Hi, it's Chook Chat time again. In this episode we're going to talk about sprouting and fermenting grains for your chooks, why that's good for your chooks and the system that we use to do that. Then we're going to have a look at Sir Reginald, who has a problem with his foot. So we're going to set some eggs in an incubator to try and capture some of the offspring in case something happens to him. And finally we're going to show you how to make a beautiful Hollandaise sauce. Okay. Sprouting and fermenting grains and seeds for your chooks. They're both a terrific way of enhancing the value of your seeds. It unlocks the goodness that's otherwise trapped in the seeds and grains and makes the vitamins and minerals and proteins a lot more available to your chooks. Sprouted grains have over 100% more vitamins than unsprouted grains, than whole grains. And it's quite an easy method that we use. I have a dish that has holes drilled in the bottom and a piece of flywire that sits over there, and it sits into another dish. Basically we tip some whole wheat grains into that dish, cover it with water, give that little mix around and leave that to soak overnight, and the seeds will swell up, start to take up some of the water. The next day you would lift that, drain the water off, pop something under there for a little while to get the water away. I use wheat. You can use mung beans, lentils, alfalfa, many different types of seeds, but I tend to favour wheat because it's cheap and you get a lot of benefits from the sprouts anyway. You're going to rinse those seeds every day, and after a few days your seeds will start to sprout, depending on where you have them. Obviously inside it's a bit warmer, they'll sprout quicker. So that's day 3. Then this is day 6, I think it is, and these are really well and truly sprouted and have a lot of goodness in for your chooks. So once again, rinse them every day, fresh, cool rainwater, and that's our sprouting process. Fermentation of grains is a wonderful way of bringing probiotics into your chicken's feed. This is done through a process called lactofermentation, where it creates lactobacillus, which is a bacteria, a probiotic, fabulous for your chicken's gut. Fermentation also makes your feed go a lot further, and the chickens obviously get a lot more goodness out of the seed. So this is the process we use. I've got some water in this bucket here, and into that I tip 1 part a good scratch mix and 1 part whole wheat seed. Oops, sorry Lulu. And mix it around. Pop a lid on that, just a loose fitting lid, for about 4 days, and you keep watching it each day and you'll see the fermentation process begin. So just put that aside. You must keep it covered with water too. So if it swells up and the water depletes, top it up again with water because it's got to be well covered. So this is one that we prepared earlier. This has been fermenting, and you'll see that it's been fermenting for about 4 days. The bubbles show that fermentation process, and it smells really lovely and yeasty. So with this, I'll put that aside again. I've got a bucket system here that we use, which is a bucket down the bottom, some holes drilled in that lid again, and another bucket which matches up. The holes match with the holes in this bucket. So if you line those up, pop a bit of fly wire again into the bottom of that. And you could, I like to drain it off because it's kind of easier to use than the sloppy mix. So I tip all of that into there. Get that out of there. And you'll see how beautiful and swollen, and they smell so good. I could always eat them myself. And feed that to your chooks. I wouldn't feed it daily. I like to alternate between sprouted seeds, fermented seeds, mix it up a bit. I think chickens need variety like we do. So yeah, that's fermenting grains. Okay, we're a bit worried about Lulu, aren't we, Lulu? Oh, sorry, Jesus. Start that again. Okay, we're a little bit worried about Sir Reginald, aren't we, Lulu? He's done something to his foot. Something, I think he's either sprained his foot or some kind of injury that I can't quite pick. But we've had him in a little cage here for 5 days to keep him confined, have a bit of a rest. And in case there's any problem with him down the track, we thought we'd incubate some eggs to make sure we get some of his offspring. So we're going to show you how we set some eggs in the incubator today. I'm relatively new to incubating eggs. I usually let the chooks do it, but in this situation we don't have any clucky chooks at the moment. So a neighbour's generously lent me her incubator. So I've got 2 dozen eggs that I think about a dozen are from the Lavender Sussex, and then a few extras of lovely dark eggs and some of my neighbours' eggs as well to pop into the incubator. So they'll stay in there for 21 days at a temperature which this incubator automatically sets itself at 37.5 degrees with a humidity of about 45%. At the last stage, day 18, we stop turning the eggs because this automatically tips them, and we also increase the humidity to 65% to help them hatch out. So I'm going to load all these eggs in, and like that, point down. Okay, so we're going to pop the lid on. Keep that in a nice secure place. That temperature will come up to 37.5, and the humidity will probably drop a bit back to 45. So after 10 days, well, 6 to 10 days, you can candle the egg, which by holding a torch up to the egg, you'll see what's happening within it and whether they're fertile or not. So yeah, in 21 days we'll have some lovely chicks to show you, I hope. Great, how exciting. Okay, we're going to show you how to make a delicious hollandaise sauce. One of the mothers of all sauces, a lovely delicate sauce, perfect on poached eggs, fresh asparagus, cooked prawns. Beautiful. So firstly, we have a couple of egg yolks that have been separated that we're going to just break them up. Add some vinegar that's been reduced with peppercorns from about 1/3 of a cup down to a dessert spoon. So we're going to add that bit of vinegar in there. Get them frothing up a bit.
Lots.
And then we're going to introduce a little bit of heat just to start a little cooking process with them.
Okay.
So pop it onto a dish of shallow water, just to get that happening. We've got some hot butter. Well, it's actually not butter, it's ghee, which is butter that's been very slowly melted, and then the fats have been tipped off, and that's what's in there, tipped away from the...
Bring the first little bit of butter to introduce the butter to the egg. Just a little bit. That's it. That'll do.
Okay.
And plenty of whisking hard.
I'm not very good with my left hand, but that's all right. I'm coping. A little bit more butter.
Just a little bit. And now you can take it over to the heat. Just make it cook a little bit to start with. And you'll notice it just gets a little bit creamy. And figure 8 is a good shape.
Oh, figure 7s and 8s and
arms hurt.
6s.
Okay, now you can bring a bit of butter to it. Just leave it there.
Okay.
The more butter you bring in, the thicker it gets. And you'll probably want to bring it off the heat about now, otherwise you end up with scrambled eggs. And now you can bring a little bit of butter. That butter's quite hot.
Yep. I need my right hand to go fast.
Back onto the heat. I'll bring you a little bit of butter.
Jeffrey.
And what you're looking for is, it's got to be quite creamy. It's like thickened cream is the texture. You can see it's starting to take longer and longer to come back together. That's it, you're getting very close. A little bit more butter, take it off the heat.
Okay.
That's it. And here we are in the fast kitchen. And that's almost it. Yep. A little bit more butter. Okay, you can see it's quite thick now. So now what you do is you add a teaspoon of hot water.
Shall I get that?
Yep. And what that does, just a teaspoon, just a little bit.
Yep.
There, that's it. It stabilises the sauce. And it also means that you get the opportunity to kind of set the texture.
It's nice and glossy.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for, that kind of
Beautiful.
silky, glossy look. And it's just drag your finger through there and it's got to stay apart for 2 seconds. That's it.
Very nice.
Very good. Perfect. You can see it's slightly frothy. And that's, now you would add salt and pepper to taste.
Yeah.
And often in a commercial kitchen you'd use white pepper because you can't see it.
Yeah, true.
And that's it. And by having the hot butter, you're not committing yourself to scrambled eggs at this critical moment. The butter is still cooking the sauce for you a little bit.
Nice.
Okay, and that is an almost perfect hollandaise. And you want to put that on the poached egg. Very good, here we go. Now if you want to keep it for any length, you keep it at room temperature and you can put greaseproof paper over the top. Oh, yes, 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 yes. That is fantastic. And there we go.
Beautiful. Thanks, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
Okay, that about wraps it up for this Chook Chat. We'll see you again in 21 days when we will have lots of young chickens hatching. If you have any tips about incubation or brooder boxes, how to tend to new chicks, they'd be most welcomed. Next Chook Chat, we hope to talk about eggshells and what an eggshell can tell you about the health of your chooks. If you'd like to order Super Mash online, you can at naturalchickenhealth.com.au or check out our Facebook page, Natural Chicken Health. See you next time. Thanks.